Welcome back, everybody. It is October 1st of 2025, and this is episode 82 of What is on My Desk. Well, here we are, folks, back for another one of my monthly What is on My Desk workbench roundups, and we will get over in a second and start taking a look at things. It is going to be a bit of a longer video. I have quite a bit of stuff to show you from Airshow London, as well as a new decal sheet I have for one of the kits I'm working on, and then we'll take a quick look at where all the progress is on these new kits that we started, which I introduced in last month's video. Before we jump in, I do want to say thank you for everyone who is watching. If you haven't yet and you do enjoy what you're watching, please down below, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. As well, I have a membership set up on the channel now. If you would like to help out in a little bit more of a monetary way, please down below, take a check at those, see the different options that are available. No pressure. Please don't feel like I'm begging for money. I am more than happy to do this without any, but every little bit does help. So please take a look if you're interested. Otherwise, let's swing over to the desk and take a look at where everything is. And as always, my name is Sean, and this is Sean's Aviation. So just before we do jump into the status of the kits, I want to go through some of the stuff I got from Airshow London. As always, Airshow London's a good show for both performers, a wide variety of performers, as well as groups that bring swag. They realize that London is a real hot air show for selling stuff, so everybody tries to bring stuff up and get that sold, get that community involvement. So I did get a lot of stuff as always. So we'll start off with, I'm gonna try to do an order with this. I wanna finish up with the strictly coins. We'll go through everything else that was not coins first. So first I got was a sticker. I'm gonna zoom in here a little bit so you guys get a good view on what we're looking at. So yes, this is a sticker from the 41st Flying Training Squadron. These were the T6s that were there. He was posting on Facebook about how he wanted to bring up some stuff to ensure he got to give stuff away. And he wasn't selling, he was just giving stuff away or trading and stuff like that. So anyways, I got the sticker for them. Not usually a sticker guy. My kids collected quite a few stickers from various people. So if I was able to grab stickers for them, I also grabbed it for myself. Moving on to the E2 Hawkeye. Unfortunately, neither the E2 nor the C2. I never even saw the C2 guys. I talked to them on the Friday. They said they would set up Friday afternoon. Went back Friday afternoon. They went there with their Saturday morning. They weren't there. Someone I know at the show managed to find them set up later in the day on Saturday. However, I never made it back to see what they had. But the E2 guys were set up. No coins, unfortunately, but I did get a really cool patch. Obviously, that's the shape of their tail. Excuse me. Excuse me. That's the shape of their tail. And I always like when their patches come with the Velcro backing. That's always a nice touch. It's a nice high quality patch when you see stuff like that. So that's always pretty cool. Happy to have that added to my collection. I'm going to throw it over here in with all my stickers and patches. I eventually want to make up like a zap board, piece of wood, with all my stickers and patches on it that I can hang up somewhere. But for now, they live in the a little container here waiting for the day. So next up we have this. This is from VP 30, Patrol Squadron 30. The currently flies the P8 Poseidon, but they used to fly the P3 back in the day, the P3 Orion. So this is their sticker. I saw them on the Friday and they had the stickers and stuff. No coins or anything. I found out Friday evening that they did have some coins set up. By the time I looped back around to them on the Saturday, they were sold out of the coin I wanted. However, I did manage to snag the last of another special coin that they had. The coin that they had on the Friday that I really wanted was like a hamburger helper style coin. It was really cool. I wish I had a picture of it, but anyways, a buddy of mine got it. But this is the other coin that they had on the Saturday. And again, I'll zoom in a little bit tighter so you can see. So this is the coin that they had on the Saturday, and it is beautiful. It's got the skyline in the background, and it's got the P8 as well as the MQ4, beautifully done in relief and printed and stuff like that. I love the way this is done. It is so beautiful and well made. I don't know how else to explain it. It just looks cool. I like the difference between that metallic background with the two color blues and the details in the front, and the other side's got the Poseidon on the back with the submarine underneath, and the anchors are going around the outside. It's a really well designed coin. Cost a bit of money, but luckily I had a little bit of money on me, so it was not too big of a deal. But that was really neat to get a hold of. I really wish I had gotten the other one, but this is a really cool. And as I said, I happened to walk up, and the gentleman in front of me was putting this back down, saying, "Yep, I'll be back in a little bit. I'm gonna go get some cash or whatever it was," and he walked away. And then I walked up and said, "I'll take it," and it was the last coin they had. So I'm assuming that guy was a little disappointed when he found out he didn't get the coin he wanted. But yeah, beautiful coin. Super happy to get that. It really adds to some of the other. I find some of the Navy and the Marines have some of the coolest coins. You know, things like that. Things like this from the VQ4 with the E4 Mercury on it from that. Things like this from the U.S. Marine helicopter squadron. Like, there's just some really neat coins that the Marines and the Navy put out. So yeah, that was really neat to get my hands on. I'll put the sticker away as well. I'm trying to do this because I want to clean up. These things have been sitting around on my desk for almost a month now. Month? No, I guess it hasn't been that long. It's only been 2 weeks. Anyways, taking up space. Next up, we have the F-16 Swamp Fox. These are the guys from South Carolina. Just a simple, basic coin, nothing too crazy, but it's a nice addition to what I have. I have a couple of other of these similar F-16 style coins. This one here is from the Arizona Air National Guard. I have another one around here somewhere. It's small like this. I got it from a unit based in Korea. I just don't know where it is right off the... Oh, here we go. See, here's another F-16 coin. These are the guys at a Holloman. Like, they're all very similar in their size. So there must be a reason why... I don't know where the other one is now. Too many coins is my problem. But anyways, a lot of these F-16 coins tend to be these smaller coins instead of the larger. Is that it? No. Anyways, I don't know where it is off the top of my head. But anyways, they seem to be some of these smaller coins that the F-16 guys use. But anyways, got that as well. Also, I needed to break some change. I think this was either 15 or 25. I can't recall. It might have been $15. I gave them a hard number, like a 10 or a 20 or 30. So they need to give me change. Couldn't find change. So I ended up taking the F-16 patch just to make up the difference in value instead of having him struggle to find change at the moment. It is what it is. Next up, we have, this is the KC-46 from Seymour Johnson. I believe I got a few of their other coins last year. I should have taken these all out of their packaging before I started this. I believe I have a few of their other coins from last year, but they were maintenance sides instead of... Nope, this was the 9/11th. So no, I do not have that. That is a 10. That is... I don't know, 9/16. I don't think I actually have this. I thought I did. 38th Reconnaissance Squadron. These guys. No, so we had a KC-46 last year from Seymour Johnson, but it was a different unit. So that's good. Same base, different squadron. So this, for example, this is what I had last year. And it says Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and it's the refueling, but it's the 911th Air Refueling Squadron, whereas this year we had the 77th Air Refueling Squadron. So I like these colors, green and yellow. It's got more of the World War II looking logo on it. Looks like a flying lion. I can't tell what's on his back, but there's like a flying lion on there. And on this side, you see the KC-46 over the Shamrock, the Double Lucky 77. Obviously, there's a lot of what's what I'm thinking of, superstition in combat flying. So 77 was the Double Lucky, hence the green Shamrock. This is what their engine covers look like too, by the way, the big Shamrock on the front. So that's a neat coin to have added to the collection. And then again, I gave them money to buy the coin. It was an odd number, again, 15 or 25, I can't remember. It was a rounded off number, sorry, an uneven number, and I gave them a full amount, a value of 10 fraction, either a 20 or a 30. I needed $5 change. They did not have $5 in change. And they also had patches for $5, similar to the F-16 patch. Surprisingly, they had some larger patches, and I was kind of looking at those, and I made an offhand comment. I'm assuming the vinyl patch is not included in the $5 price. He said, of course it is. It's a patch. All patches are $5. So I snagged that, which for $5, I think was the steal of the show, to be perfectly honest. You'll also see here, it does say 77th and 9/11th. So that is both of those that, as I mentioned earlier, that I have, 77th and the 9/11th Air Refueling Squadron. So I managed to snag, well, these are all my 9/11th. This is the 9/11th maintenance. This is the 9/11th Air Refueling Squadron. And then this is again, another one of their maintenance ones. So this is all 9/11th. This is the 77th. So I have a nice collection of what you would see from the Seymour Johnson base with the KC-46s. But I love this. The vinyl, the bear, it's Red Flag Alaska, obviously. But having the bear holding the refueling probe and a gas jug, I think is just over the top, and I love it. So it's going to eventually live on that Zap board if I ever do get around to making that. So that is really cool. Now we'll go straight through to coins. And we have this one, which is a unit I have already, but it's a new coin to my collection. I also want to make a note. This one here, the P8 one, is numbered 133. I don't know how many they made, but they are a numbered coin. I always like getting the numbered coins because it means they're only made in limited numbers. Usually they give them a set amount and they won't make more than that. This one here is from the 338th Combat Training Squadron. As I mentioned, I do have one of their coins that I picked up a couple of years ago, actually. It might not have been last year. It might have been a few years ago when I got my hands on that coin. I feel like I also got... No, maybe I'm not. I thought I had a bottle opener style coin from them, but I think I am imagining things because I don't have another one. So I have a previous coin from them. This one is their 25th anniversary coin, which was dated September of 2024, so it's off by a year, but still, to have their 25th anniversary coin. Again, they're only going to make a small number of these, and this particular one is also numbered 173. So again, there was a limited number of these coins made, so to get my hands on that is nice, having the history of the 338th Fighter Squadron with the P51s, P38s, and then on this side having that 25th anniversary with the various reconnaissance aircraft types they fly, which are the Rivet Joint, the Combat Scent, and the Cobra Ball, all various variations of the C-135 Stratolifter. So that was, again, a neat coin to add to the collection just because it adds to the history that I'm collecting. The other one I picked up here is the, I got a few more, but another one is the Rhino Demo Team. I haven't seen the Rhino Demo Team in a while. Getting an official Rhino Demo Team coin is always nice. I have quite a few of the USAF demo teams. I've got the F-35 coin. I've got the F-22 coin. I've got the F-16 coin. So adding the Rhino demo team coin is a neat addition. And then on the back side, it has the squadron, excuse me, the VFA, excuse me, VFA 106. I don't have a lot of Super Hornet coins off the top of my head. I do believe the only other one I have is this one from VFA 122. So again, having a few Super Hornet coins is definitely a bonus. It's funny, I spent a whole bunch of time cataloging all of these not too long ago, and now I'm going to have to go through and do it all again because I'm adding all of these to the mix and I'm not really keeping track of what I'm adding. Anyways, next up, V22. I do have another V22 coin. Actually, I have two V22 coins, if memory serves. I have this one, and I believe I have one that has geese on it in some form, but I can't recall off the top of my head. But I do believe I have another V22 coin. I'll have to look for it, but I'm pretty sure I have one that has a goose or something on one side. Too many, okay, it's not a goose, but I have that. VMT 204. That's a V22. That's HMM 162. And that's VMM 266. I'm really convinced I have one that has a goose on it or something. So I'm just going to dig for a second. I know this isn't the most entertaining for all of you out there when I'm digging through my coins and not showing you anything, and it's all just me talking. But if I have it, I want to find it. No, that's a fighter squadron. Maybe I am officially crazy. Maybe it's a sticker that I have and not a coin. It is very possible that I'm thinking of a sticker. There's been a lot of stuff I've collected over the years, and it's really hard to keep track of exactly what I have. So I'm going to go with the fact that I'm thinking of a sticker and not a coin, because I don't see anything here. But anyways, I do have three V22 coins now from three separate units. This one here, as I said, is HMM. VMM 162, VMT 204, and VMM 266. So this is the training unit, VMMT, and both of these were active V22 units. So that's a nice addition. Beautiful Griffin. I don't know the history of this, but they got the Griffin on one side, the back side, the V22. Established 1983. The legacy continues. My guess is this would have flown CH-46s prior to the V22. But anyways, another nice coin that I can add to the collection. I have two left to show you. This one was one I'm glad I finally got, as they had never had coins in the past. This is the 114th Fighter Squadron out of Oregon, the Oregon National Guard, Kingsley Field, with the F-15s. They're switching to F-35s next year. So they will be retiring all their F-15s. So it was nice to get a view of that, get the coin before they retire off into a new aircraft type. They've been flying F-15s forever. And finally, again, one of the ones I just completely lucked out on, because I know I found this on the Friday during the day. I happened to reach over and talk to the crew. He's like, yep, I got some stuff for sale over here. Come take a look. I showed some people because they were packing up to leave when I went over and asked if they had anything for sale. And that was on the Friday afternoon. And I know somebody who ended up back over there on the Saturday, and they would not sell anything. They said that they were not properly set up to sell and that they were not going to be doing any swag sales. How accurate that is, I don't know, because I didn't see them. The plane was not available while I was going by, but I managed to snag this. This is a C-130 unit of Youngstown, Ohio from the Air Force Reserve Command. And as you can clearly see, it's done up like the tail of a C-130. It's also got a hole on the top, so I'm assuming it can be worn around a necklace. But the back side, I think, is just awesome. Pride, attitude, integrity. It's got a Herc with like a flying tiger on it. And then you see up here it says the 9/10th airlift wing. Really neat coin. I like the ones that are shaped like tails, as I just showed you. I've got the V22 one. I also have KC10. And I got a KC135. I think that's all the ones that are tail shaped. Oh, no. Yeah, that's not a tail shape. So yeah, those are all the ones I have that are, you know, tail shaped. Oh, I take that back. I do have another one. Here we go right here from the C-60 from the Commemorative Air Force. So I have a bunch of different C-130, V-22, KC-10, KC-135, and a C-60 that are tail shaped. So again, I like the variation. I like the fact that some of these are, you know, I look some of these up online and there's not a lot to find. You go to find these online and there's very few, if any, pictures of some of these coins. So that's always good. I think I might end up making a section of my website dedicated to these coins. So that's about it. That's really everything I got. Oh, I take that back. I just found one more sitting over here in a corner. Let me make sure I'm not missing any others. New. It's another V22 coin to go along with that big one I got. I also got the bottle opener style. You can see there's some of the other bottle opener style ones I have. That's the 38th Reconnaissance Squadron with the RC-135s. And then I've got, I've got the Peace Air Force Base, Air National Guard Base, KC-46s, and those are the A-10s out of David Mothman Air Force Base, which are now retired. So that's kind of why I like to get some of this stuff, because you'll never be able to find this without going to the used market again. But anyways, back to this one. So this obviously is straight U.S. Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps, Semper Fi, USMC, and then you've got the beautiful Marine Corps logo on the front. This whole side is just awesome. And on the back side, it talks about the unit. So the VMM 266 Griffins, the legacy continues with like a squadron crest in the middle of the little Griffin logo. So that's a nice, another nice one to add to the collection. I probably will just display that this way with the Marine Corps looking out. I have to find a better way of displaying my coins. I'm very, very quickly running out of space. So that will be another problem to solve in the future. But anyways, that's the end of that. So let's quickly loop over and we'll take a look at one new product that I got. And then we'll take a look at the progress of the kits. Okay, here we are. New model kit review time. Not really a model kit, more of a decal sheet. And it is this. This is V1 Decals, great airline decal provider. I've met him a few times. He used to work at the airport I work at. So it was really easy to kind of meet up and pick up some decals when I bought off of him versus having them shipped. He has since moved elsewhere in the country. I don't think he advertises his location, but he is in Canada. Obviously it says the Made in Canada logo on the top. So he is in Canada, but he has a very wide selection of airliner decals. I do like all of these instructions on the back. Really neat set of instructions. And then you have your picture on the front that does show you what you are printing. And down here, like the order side with scale and whatnot. So you can imagine when you order this, all he has to do is print this out, circle it, and then he has his order sheet to work from. But yeah, so V1 Decals, super good guy and a good set of decals. And here is what I got. So this is what you get for the Air Porter 1/144th scale. As I mentioned, I am making this on a commission for someone and they wanted it done up in Porter. Now, I don't know what registration he wants, and unfortunately, it doesn't really matter because he's going to get stuck with whatever registration I have on here, which happens to be KQC. But yeah, you can see just by looking at like the distances, everything seems almost perfect. The registration, no, I take that back. It's off slightly when you line up the front door, the back door doesn't quite line up. So you will have to play with it a little bit to make it all fit. But I'll have to look at the windows and make sure the windows all line up anyways. I might have to play with it a little bit. Same on this side. I don't think those two doors line up. But yeah, the back door is just a little short. So you'll have to play a little bit, make sure the... I haven't even tested any. This is the first time I've compared it to the kit. But anyways, you'll have to play with it a little bit, cut them apart, make them. And now the other thing you have to understand, this is printed on a continuous carrier film. So you do have to trim out really close around all the decals in order to get them to fit properly. So you're going to have to do a bit of work on it anyway. So you might as well take the time and make sure that things are done properly when you do it. Interestingly, they give you the nav lights as decals, even though they are clear parts on the kit. But again, a nice little touch. So yeah, anyways, and I'm not going to be using the canopies here because this will have open windows. So I'll have to use cut out the porter. But anyways, you make it work. Same back here. It's got the big area on the top for the bullet in the tail. I'll be painting mine, so it's not going to be much of a problem. But anyways, it's really nice set of decals, beautifully printed. I mean, you can tell it's printed at home, but it is beautifully done. There's no fuzziness at all. When you look at how small of a detail he's getting on some of these doors, it's beautiful. That also being said, as I am using the Eastern Express, like as I said, that's the Eastern Express kit I'm using. When they have their decal sheet that they provide, you also get a lot of duplicate parts. So things like the windows are also slightly different sizes between what you get on the kit and what you get on the instructions. But the cargo door, I actually prefer what you get from him versus what you get on the instructions. You get just the same de-icing boots, which seem to be very similar in size and shape, which again is good to see. Though that is nice. You get the same. Yeah. Anyways, you do get quite a bit. Here's the cowling stripes. So you'll have to play around with it, mix and match as needed, make it work. But yeah, this is a great addition. And again, I've used these decals a few times before. No complaints. Highly recommend using them. So that'll be the decals I use on this Dash 8. On that note, you've kind of seen the Dash 8 progress already. So let's jump into the progress of the kits, and you can see where I stand on the builds. So here we are back at the desk to take a look at the progress on the kits. You've seen the stuff I got at Airshow London. You've seen the new decal sheet I got. That pretty much wraps up kind of the new stuff. So we'll take a quick look at the progress. If you saw last month's video, you would have seen I wrapped up the last three of the 4 kits. I'm currently working on 3 new ones. So we're going to go through. I'm going to start with the Fokker DR1. If you did miss last month's episode, this is the 1/48 scale. Let's see if I can get the box art out here. 1/48 scale Edward DR1, the Fokker triplane. And I've got quite a bit of progress on it. I've been poking away at it. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit because these are tiny, tiny little planes. All 3 of the new kits I'm building are on the smaller side. So these are the fuselage halves. And I've managed to go ahead and get a lot of the interior ready. This is very, very close to being able to be assembled. So these are the fuselage halves. Exterior, obviously, we painted later. Interior-wise, I've done quite a bit. I'm going to get a little pointing stick. So the back half here has all been painted like an olive drab to replicate the fabric interior. This little triangle is actually painted with a wood grain, and I'll show you some more wood grain here in a minute. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I used the really, really well done tutorial by Nigel's Modeling Bench here on YouTube, and finally gave it a shot, and I think it turned out really well. So that's painted directly onto the fuselage half, and then this is a frame that's inserted and glued into place. And you'll see the 2 halves are about the same. This is also a little pouch. It was supposed to be painted leather. I painted it olive drab, and just black washed it to make it stand out a little bit. But those are the interior of the fuselage. There's then the sort of cockpit floor. These aircraft didn't really have a cockpit to speak of. It was just a bunch of pieces jammed into a frame. So anyways, wood grained floor. I painted little footwells silver, and then everything else has been glued onto it. The control stick and everything. I do have a little bit of black wash. Dry brushing I need to do eventually on the control column and this little piece here. And the seat, which we see here, the seat back was painted wood grain. The cushion was painted leather. And this back piece, I guess looking at other pictures, this back piece should have been a fabric stretched and sewn, but I did it as a piece of wood. I think it just looked a little bit better. You can see when this is all jammed in there, it's gonna look really, really nice when you look down inside and see everything. It's really hard to just like put this together because like I said, everything's kind of separate and there's no like cockpit tub as in most other aircraft. Everything's just kind of resting in place. So this kind of sits down in here somewhere, and then you got the seat, which kind of sits back here. So you can, there's a lot going on in there for such a small little kit. I think it's gonna look really, really good when it's all assembled. So I'm very happy with that. The propeller here also been wood grained. It's looking really good. I got to do a little bit of detail painting here in the hub area. I'm going to paint some parts silver, and then there's like a plate I'm going to paint silver and then black wash it so it looks like a steel bracket bolted into that. So that's coming along. I haven't started the engine yet, but everything else is coming along. I have a lot of these other parts painted. This is the part that goes over the top of the fuselage. So I painted the inside aluminum so it looks like a metal cover. I'll have to do a bit of black washing on that, and then obviously there's a little leather bumper around the opening of the cockpit. Front cowling I also painted silver just because I had the paint out, so it was been painted. So again, when you look up inside, once it's painted, you'll see that. Once the fuselage is glued together, I'll also have to paint this forward bulkhead aluminum again, so that when you look past the engine, you'll see the aluminum bulkhead. And then the engine itself will take quite a bit of work. There's a few pieces that have to go together, various different colors. I'm gonna try to alclad it, make it look really cool. So that's coming up in the future. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. I'm very happy with how all of this has gone together. I'm kind of trying to, I got to start gluing the fuselage together, but I know that's going to be a pain and you're going to lose all the detail. So I'm trying to get as much done as I can on the everything before I start doing that. So the next one I'm doing is very similar. It is the Edward 1/48 scale Albatros D5. You're not going to see anything because I'm too Albatros D5. So another tiny one. This one was a bit more of a challenge just because so much of this airframe is painted in wood grain. So I've actually had to paint the entirety of the inside of the fuselage in wood grain. So that's done. I've already started to assemble parts. So I've got the instrument panel, air quotes, instrument panel installed, some of these little pumps, this little panel here. There's another one that has to go here. I haven't painted yet. The cockpit tub, for lack of a better term, has been assembled. I did realize kind of after the fact I made a bit of a mistake on painting this, but I'm not going to tell you how. But I think it still looks really good. I've kind of fixed my mistake enough that it doesn't seem very obvious, but you can see how that's going to kind of fit into there, somewhere around there. And then the seat I have over here, I painted leather. It was supposed to be an entire leather seat on this particular one, so when it gets glued in, it's going to kind of look the part. And then the forward bulkhead over here is currently drying. I got it assembled and black washed. It's going to sit up in here, kind of behind everything. And then there's a whole bunch of frames that all go in there to fill space. Now the other thing with this particular aircraft is it has an exposed engine. So this is the sort of the bulkhead that fits in here where the engine sits. And then the engine itself has also been painted, and it lives on this like that. So that also needs a bit of it. It's all been black washed already, hence why it's clipped and drying. I just have to dry brush the top half. And then again, there's all kinds of other things I need to do to that weathering wise, and there's going to be some more pieces that get glued onto that, and everything will get weathered and washed and it'll look really good at the end. Propeller, similar to how I did the DR1 propeller, a nice black wash. Again, you can't really see because of the way I have it, but that's going to be mounted, you know, in front of the engine here. So that's going to look really, really cool. And then the other piece I have done that I haven't really shown you yet is the control stick, the yoke. It sits in here. It kind of clips into the bottom of this like that. And then, oh, did I just break that? No. And then fits into a hole in the front of this. So everything kind of fits all together like a puzzle. So it's got, again, similar to the DR1, I've been putting off assembling the interior until I have as much of this all taken care of as I can and like weathered and ready. Because once I assemble everything, I'm not really going to be able to get to anything or really do anything. It's all going to be in there and very tight and hard to access. So I'm trying to get as much done as I can, and I'm double checking my work and triple checking my work and making sure I'm 110% sure that I haven't missed anything and I've done everything, so that when I glue that fuselage together, I'm not going to be kicking myself for doing it. So working on that, but that alone has been a lot. That wood grain, it's just an oil paint that I brush on, and then I use a Q-tip. You can see the tip of that's been used, and I just kind of streak the oil paint over top of the Vallejo wood base color. So the two of those together is what makes the wood grain. And then I've been adding a bit of black wash, which is where you get that difference in color between here, which is the standard, and then this part here that has a black wash, and it kind of makes it just give it a variance in color and make it pop. So anyways, this takes 3 to 4 days to dry. So you really need to give it time. When you apply it, you got to apply it, put it away, walk away from it. I've been reading there's ways I can make this dry faster. Someone said if I let it sit out on, like put it on a piece of cardboard or something and let it sit for a few hours, it allows a lot of the oil to burn off and then use it, and it dries a lot faster. But I haven't quite tried that yet because I did all this before I read that. So I'll try that on the next one. I do have some more I need to do soon, so that'll be coming up. Anyways, those are the two 1/48 scale new kits. The third kit I've started working on is the AMP-8, which you can see here. I'm doing this as a commission build for somebody, not as a tanker. I'll be finishing it as a Porter aircraft here with some V1 decals. So progress on this has been a little slower. I've been focusing on the wood grain, but you can see here I actually have the fuselage. It's actually glued together right now. I have this forward section glued, hence the clamp, and I'm drying everything up here, and then I'll slowly work my way down, making sure the seams are nice and smooth as I work my way down, and then around the bottom and meet back up again down here. So that's what I'm working on with that. Again, I'm at that point, once the fuselage is going to get glued together, the rest of the progress will just go flying. I've already got the wings glued together. A little bit of seam cleanup here I got to do, just touch up the leading edge, a little tiny bit back here, but I want to be very careful because I don't want to hide the panel lines. But I am probably going to put just a little tiny bit of putty in a couple of these places just to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, so it's coming along. That looks, I mean, it's actually, it blows me away every time. Okay, well, that's that. I don't think I need it clamped anymore. It's been clamped for a few hours. It really blows me away every time. No matter how many times I've seen the Dash 8s and been around the Dash 8s, when you see a scale model of how tiny the wing really is, like that's it. That's the wing. There's no more to it. It is really astounding how absolutely tiny the wing is on this aircraft. But that also shows the ingenuity that de Havilland was able to come up with, making such a small and efficient wing, and then adding all of those flaps and increasing the lift the way they do with the aircraft, having, you know, full span flaps, blown wing with the engine. Like you can see how they've used all the lessons they learned through, you know, the beaver, the otter, the twin otter, the caribou, all that stuff into through the buffalo, and using all that technology and when they made this. So it's super efficient, thin wing, great for cruising at altitude, but then it can be, you know, dirtied up and used for landing in a very nice slow approach. So that's really, really cool just to see how small that wing is. It just blows me away. But anyways, the wing is glued together. Again, clean up on the wing. The tail, I've got the vertical tail glued together. A little bit of cleanup needs to be done here, just a little bit back here across the top, just to clean that seam up. I'll clean up all the seams in and around the front of this bullet, and then it gets painted. I'll have to try to match this dark blue as close as possible. I don't like the fact of how the decal has been made as one kind of big decal, so I'm gonna have to try to like trim that a little bit and then match the color. I think I have something over here that's gonna be close. I think I can get a so intermediate blue. I don't think that's what I want. There's yeah, here we go, USNC blue. I think this color is very close to what I need. So I'm gonna paint that bullet this color. And then when I apply the decal, it should blend enough that it won't be as noticeable. But yeah, pretty much done on that. Like I said, other than just a quick cleanup on this bullet, maybe a quick sand on the leading edge, a little bit of Mr. Surfacer, same with the wing. As I said, most of the cleanup will be Mr. Surfacer with a slight amount of, I actually think I can do most of this with Mr. Surfacer versus a putty. We'll see how it goes. Same with the fuselage. And then I've got the, these are the inside of the cowlings. These are the main wheel wells. Have been assembled. I got to glue the nacelles together. That's the next step. Get those on the wings. I can get those glued onto the wings. And then this is the nose gear. Oh shit, that's cracked. Okay, anyways, that's my nose gear. I'm gonna glue it in after. It has, same with the landing gear. I'm gonna glue it in after. It's got a different color. It's a very light gray versus the bottom of the fuselage, which is more of a medium gray. I still have to match the colors, by the way. That's, I think neutral gray will do good with the underside gray. And then I've been using, I don't even remember what I've been using. Yeah, here, light gray is what I'll use on the landing gear. And it's close enough to the real plane that it should be close enough. But the gear I'm gonna glue in later. I did test this earlier. You can actually slip the nose gear in after the fact. So once I have everything assembled and glued, I can then get in here and slide this gear into place. It's still not easy, but it can be done. But yeah, this kind of comes down and under, and then there, you can get that. There we go. See, you can slide that gear in after the fact. So once I have it all assembled, add a bit of glue, I can jam that on there. Again, the main gear can be glued on. I just don't want that living like that while I'm doing all the assembly. It's a very quick way to snap that off. And as soon as you break something like that off, you're gonna lose all of its strength when you glue it back on. So I wanna be able to add that after the fact, just like I did with a bit of glue. So that's the plan. Same with the main gear. And then I'll get things like the wing glued on. Got that backwards. The wing will get glued on, the nacelles will be glued on, the tail. I'm not gonna glue the horizontal stabs because of the decals, but I'm gonna glue all of this all together, clean up seams, paint it, then after paint, decal, and then after all of that, I can add the horizontal stabs, I can add the propellers, the landing gear, all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, it is looking really good. Super happy. Again, it won't take long to build, hence why I've been focusing on the other stuff that takes more work. Now we move on to the B-24. I have not done a lot on the 24. I still have to schedule in the next live stream. I've been really busy. September, October is always crazy around the house, so I haven't had much time to do anything, but I've gotten a little bit done on this. I've cleaned up all the seams, and for the most part, like all through here, there's only a couple of areas that are gonna need putty. The vast majority of these seams I was able to clean up with just sanding. I'm gonna need a little bit of putty down this central place here. I've also cleaned up all inside the bomb bays, like I said I would. So all these bulkheads have been cleaned up. All back here has been cleaned up. I'm gonna add paint on that probably on the next live stream. Glue in, say, for example, this panel as well on the live stream. Start getting the clear canopy cleaned up and ready to go. And then, yeah, paint all of this silver, glue this piece in, or glue this piece in, paint this silver, set it aside, do some work on the wings, and then I'll come back and start cleaning up the clear pieces and maybe finishing it off with a little bit of putty. So that's kind of where we stand. We'll see. I have to schedule that in soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And then on the wings, I do have, for example, on this side, I have the front glued on. I can't remember if I showed this to you last time. I've started to clean up the seams in here, which again, with a bit of sanding, didn't turn out too bad. Now that I have these glued on, I'll have to go through and clean up the seams around here a little bit, sand those down, and prep for the next round. Again, these wings don't really need much. I managed to get almost all the seams cleaned up just with sanding. No real putty has been required. This one I haven't even started sanding yet, so I'll have to do that next. So it's coming along. If you notice all this weird clampage, I'm trying to hold this front piece in place and have some tension on it to get it to glue. And then I'll go through and sand these down. Do as much prep work as I can on these wings. As I said, with the fuselage, I don't think there's much more I need to do before the next video. I think we're pretty much good to start the next video. I do need to mask a few things, but anyways. So we're getting closer to being ready for the next time live stream. So if you do want to watch those, keep an eye out on both the YouTube channel and my Facebook page. I'll be posting a schedule about a week or two out when I'm planning to do that. So I want to wrap it up here. It's been a bit of a longer video. So this is the progress on the kits. So as always, keep an eye out on Facebook. I do post some status updates once in a while on Facebook, but as well, I'll have another one of these coming out next month, and you can see more progress on that. As always, I also have my time-lapse videos coming out. I'm working on the F-14 one right now, so it should be coming out at some point in October. And what else? I have a video. I was out at Arm Prior, took another look at the progress on the restoration of the Halifax with the wing section, so that'll be coming out in about a week. And then on the 15th, I'll have my latest RCAF history video, 450 Squadron. That's the last official 400 series squadron in the RCAF. So we're getting closer to the end. After this, we'll talk a bit more about what my next process will be for the rest of it. But that's where things stand. So it's been busy. I've had a lot of videos coming out recently. I have a lot more to do. And yeah, so let's wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.